Very simply, just want to build upon some nice information that I've been talking to a few people here, John and Michael and Anthony over there. Today basically is very strongly about how you can expand your mind and multiple streams of income. Now, I advocate that in a very strong manner. As far as I can see, one of the key successes to move forward within any business, whichever. I mean, we've got a very diverse crowd here. There's lots of people working on internet marketing, there's people trying to run their own business, people establishing their own physical businesses. But they all have some key elements, in my opinion, that can sort of synchronize together using Ron's words. My own background, just to give you an example, within a few of my industries that I've worked with, is within retail, it's within e-tail, e-tail being the electronic sales and marketing of items and products. Now that's not internet marketing. It's not the same sort of principle as selling a download of that kind of product. It's actually physically selling hard crafted goods. Within mail order systems, basically allowing a pretty systemized sort of approach of guy. I like to make an effort to ensure that everything is processed properly. There's a little key there, by the way, to ensure that you've got a clear process through your business. Whatever it is, as long as it sits congruent with yourself, that is one of the main keys. I learned that at a very young age, because my father said to me, son, listen, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. It seems like a real simple caption. But at a very young age, it's quite impressive to understand. At 10 or 11 years old, say, you know you're going to be working in business. So I kind of knew that from a very young age. But he said, don't do anything you don't want to do. If you can't put your heart and soul into something, with honour, with respect, because at somewhere along the line, congruency is going to massively conflict. And you're going to be falling left, right and centre and actually be able to focus and going forward. Yeah? So just to give you some examples of the kind of things, if I can take one of my businesses, which is a retail organisation which sold electronics and in-car entertainment in the specialist division, so that's stereo, satellite navigation, it morphed into later. We're talking about way back in 1993. I was still studying and educating at that time as well. But I decided that something inside me was burning up. I wanted to specifically get out and get my feet out into a business ASAP, as quick as I possibly could. So I started, within one of our family businesses, I started paying attention to a little bit of a corner of a space. I said to my dad, I said, look, can I just start putting some stock over here? I've got a little vision. I've got a feeling we're going to start doing well. So the reason why I put this out is that you don't need massive capital. Ron started with £15. The point is, there's a lot of people who sit there and put a blockage in their way, and they slow themselves down by thinking, you know what, we've got to wait for the fruit to grow first before we can turn around and say, now let's try and invest this in somewhere. You can start with very little money. As long as you are focused and you have an organised process to consistently produce the same goods. Yeah? What I do today produces the results I have. Yes, my ritualistic on a daily basis, this is a Tony Robbins quote, the rituals I perform on a daily basis produce my daily results. So if you do not like what you are producing for yourself today, just look back at what you're doing. You're obviously doing something that's producing what you have today. Yeah? If that can slightly sort of change a few things. I mean, everybody stops to think, but then we think about business going forward, we don't really think about what we've done to get where we are. Always look back at what experiences you've had in life, which industries you've worked with. Yeah? Always look to understand and see, if I'm a person who's worked within retail, all of a sudden for me to turn around and start clothes tailoring. You know? Unless it's a passion of mine from a young age, don't just shift yourself into a massive new paradigm in business. Try and keep within your niche, which is exactly what Ron was doing. Went back to his passion. He stuck to the motorbike industry, and then he expanded himself in that. So to give you another example, this is really what I want to give you here, just to show you that even one business, if this is about 15, 20 businesses, just one business on its own, with your full heart and soul, produce a very big return. And most importantly, happiness of achievement. Very key things. If you're not happy, you're not enjoying yourself, it's not going to work for you. You're going to keep stopping. You're going to keep confronting a lot of information. I mean, the in-car entertainment business, when I first got into the game, this is way back in '93, it was a very clinical affair. There was not really much passion in the game. It was just basically, there you are, would you like that installed? There's a massive paradigm shift between the exclusive high-end Halfords, for example, you know, the basic, so rigmarole people, and the high-end audio people. Good friends of mine, Prestige Audio, which are here based in London, they work on bespoke stuff, like manufacturing cabinets and stuff for inside the vehicles, audio systems, screens popping up and out, really kind of pick my motor, pick my ride type stuff now. Massive paradigm shift. No one really encapsulated the markets together. Yeah? You couldn't walk into one place. If you wanted to just have if you want a bespoke installation, you went to them, they wouldn't stock the brands that these guys did. So this is kind of a bit of a pain that I picked up. Always look for if you're in that industry and if you want to be honest about something, you really want to create the best you can possibly do of yourself within a business. Always focus yourself going forward, if I may say so, finding a niche that can be exposed, a pain that somebody's out there. So when you're walking in my particular case, when I was in a business, this was a massive pain difference because the people in the middle, some people just want to walk into a place and say, I don't want to spend £10,000 on my car, but I don't really want to spend £50 either. I want something in the middle, but nobody was producing this product. So we went out of our way. I talked about the mastermind. We talked about Napoleon Hill again. I created a mastermind team around myself, with myself, my brother, who's an older brother of mine, my nephews, and then what we did, expanded by creating some professional individuals who came in the game as well. All of us, regularly once a week, a systemized approach, we sit down and assess what we've achieved in the last month and what we're going to be doing the next month. Yeah? On a weekly basis, we assess the week. On a monthly basis, we assess the month before and going forward. Always keeping an eye on a big vision of where we want to be. For me, the big picture was to be one of the largest and most comprehensive one-stop shops in the UK, yeah? And around the world later. So we turned around and we spent a lot of time masterminding off each other, creating a vision after every single meeting. Don't have a meeting for the sake of meetings. Yeah? That's also quite a big one as well. Always have a meeting with a succinct output. You know, some kind of vision you've got to have at the end of it. You've got to have a clarity to the output, to the actual meeting. What is the purpose of the meeting? What will I achieve? Always visualize the meetings going correctly. I'm running a little bit short on time, so I'm just going to rush through some of the stuff. If you want any more information, by all means, please talk to me. We'll go through some more detail later, because I really have a lot of respect for Ron's timing and his regimented time. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Maybe I'll have the same jokes as him. But when we're talking about actual focus and the meetings, always visualize the meeting going correctly. Don't install any kind of anxiety. Stay focused on the actual meeting itself. Stay purposeful. And when the meeting's completed, always make a complete note of what your action plan is going to be going forward. Now, there's a lot of people who are very healed in this marketplace, so I'm just going to skim over that idea just to move forward. Now, the multiple streams of income and how we can actually integrate that into your daily business. Now, I'm not sure how many people here are sort of like internet marketers at all. There's a few people working on this yet too. And majority of people, are you working with real, like in the sense of physical businesses? Yeah. Come from a mixed background, and some who have not been in business, because there's about 3 hands come up here, 2 hands come up there. So most people here, have you been all in business before? Yeah. Professional backgrounds. Still trying to find out what the majority of people here. It's a good, cool mix, isn't it? Okay. Always focus on your expertise, which I touched on just a moment ago, and how you can expand that in your marketplace. Now, if you're a property expert, as I know some of us are here, go and listen and emulate the people who are in the industry. Go and listen to what they've got to do. This is a quick shot of what I would suggest you do. Look at your key competitors in whichever industry you're in. So I'm trying to be very diverse with the answering here questions. Look at the key competitors that you've got in the industry. For example, if you're an internet marketer and you've got some key people out there who are floating the market with key 7 stages of how to become a millionaire, etc., always ensure that you've worked out what marketplace they're going for and why people are buying from them. Always key yourself to see why people are buying from them. And if you have established yourself as a person who's already selling in the industry, find out why people are buying from you. Always look backwards at yourself to see what is it in me that people are attracted to, why they're buying from my brand. Ensure that your brand is aligning itself with what people want from you. The product you're offering, always align it to the marketplace if you're making sales, yes. So for our sakes, when we started making sales within the car audio industry, keeping it in that niche, because I've got nearly 11 or 12 different niches to talk about, I ensured we regularly had questionnaires asking clients, why did you buy with us? Why did you come to the store? I said, because it's the only store that we can find that's got such a variety of products. So what I did is I realized that this became a key thing to us, so it became part of our identity. So in our marketing spiel, in our internet marketing, in our hard print, we've made a very key distinction of saying the place that's a one-stop shop with all the brand under one table, under one roof. Just listening to what the client wants and focusing yourself on what you're delivering. One of the key things that Ron was talking about just a moment ago is support network, is your mastermind. Because we do end up being quite alone, and I am subject to that myself as well. Because there was a time when I had the wrong people around me, and all I was doing is focusing going forward and growing in leaps and bounds. But my team wasn't really seeing the same vision as me. They were always saying, you know what, I think you want to slow down a little bit. And one of the key components of this was a bank manager, who, when I was actually growing, he couldn't see my vision at the speed that I wanted to be growing. He was expecting me to take an expansion over 5 years or over 3 years, and I was doing it within 6. And he was saying, this is just a misalignment. So I turned around and sat with my father and said, look, Dad, I just can't get on the manager. So every time we try to expand, he's seeing the vision, he's believing the vision, but he doesn't want to back us up in any way. Because he's saying that this is too soon, it's too quick. Quick fix, change the bank manager. I won't go and find another bank manager. I literally found somebody who synergized with me. Always assess your mastermind. If you outgrow your mastermind, your group, adjust things, change, move. Find somebody who's always pushing you to the next level. You know, if we look inwards and we get so caught up here, we won't see anything else around us. So keep yourself supporting. It may well be family members first, but there may be a time when you'll be held back by your family members. This is not to create a depth. Just basically make a very professional distinction. Step further forward. Go and find somebody who's going to expand you. Find yourself a mentor. Find yourself a coach. Find somebody who's going to push you to the next level. Somebody who keeps you on the tips of your toes. That's just one experience myself. I was quite lucky. My mentor was my father and my mum. You know, they were key people, key processes in my game. Every time I required a little bit of esteem or some kind of motivation, I sit there and just share the problem with them. All of a sudden, they have an answer. Very, very simple. What we don't see, others do. And you're already here for the mentoring game anyway, because Ron's giving you quite a bit of information here. These are key steps that I think are very valuable. Now, I'm not sitting here as a coveted speaker telling you this is what you need to do. All I'm showing you is how I make my money. It's very, very simple. Now, we can always map them over into our own businesses. Irrelevant what the business is about, whether it's a consultancy or not. Support systems. Always keep an eye on the market you're trying to service. Yeah, very important, because the market will shift. You'll think you're servicing a particular market, and all of a sudden, you know, for example, I may be selling subwoofer base boxes, and all of a sudden the market's moved to not wanting base boxes, they all want the boot back. Yeah? But I could still be spending £500,000 in R&D for developing a base box that was going to fit into the new latest car. What we're not listening to at the time is we missed the point, and I made a mistake here. It cost me quite a lot. We spent £250,000 worth of stock bought into the country for a very specific base box, and then the year later, the car that I was projecting it for already had a purpose-built subwoofer in the car. So we sort of rendered a useless marketplace. That was a mistake I made. So we learned. Always keep an eye on the market, understand what's happening going forward, how the innovations are moving and changing. Is this kind of slightly changing, helping? Because I've got a lot of nodding heads, but I'm keeping it diverse for a reason, by the way. I can keep it very succinct and, you know, and one thing that I'm purposefully trying to assess everybody and see whether it's helping. Every single thing that you're working with, keep looking inwards at what you're working with. I mean, for example, I spoke to Michael a bit. You work with the bid game. Is that right? Yeah. So we've got like I've got an actual title to your website. But BananaBids.com. Right, yeah. BananaBids.com. Yeah. Now, the point being is that when you hit the marketplace, you've got quite a lot of big players in the game that you can emulate quite quickly. Yeah? You can copy their style quite quickly. Because they've already done a lot of market research in the marketplace, they've already made the mistakes. You can pick it quite quickly. The only thing is, you've got to make sure you've got a brand and some kind of succinct niche, some reason why the client wants to come to you. Okay? Because otherwise it's going to be the same old, you'll have no loyalty within your client base. I made that mistake. I went into the mail order market and internet market, and which became the same old. And there's about half a dozen of us all selling the same product, all fighting over 3 pence and knocking the 97s to 99s and whatever else. Found out afterwards, £8 million turnover down the track with only 8% margin, and realised that I can't run my company on £250,000. Yeah. So we literally instantly realised that this is not really the marketplace we wanted to go for. It was a vision, it was very successful. So what did I do? I personally, myself, I'm just a quick jump on this one, I actually packaged the product as an internet company, and I sold it onto one of my competitors. He was very happy because he had a very large database and stuff, but I was excessively happy because I got my 5 years return within 6 months. Not interested in the marketplace anymore. Yeah. So what was a very core business to us, we just morphed and adjusted. So today we do high-end, classy installations because that's where the margin is. Always keep an eye on profit. Profitability is very important. Once the profit is created, make sure you're not outselling yourself just to be a competitor in the marketplace. And sometimes, perception is projection. Just a little nugget on price. What we believe is our perception. What we want to believe about ourselves is what we automatically project. If we believe that we are valued ourselves at, let's say if you're a consultant at £500 an hour, if all of a sudden I believe that I'm worth £500 an hour, I'll project it, and the other client will actually will pay for your money because they'll see congruency in your offering. Yeah. So with ourselves, we didn't outprice ourselves in the marketplace. We kept a key eye on the market, how it was running. But what I did is we were slightly dearer. And most people think that's a complete nonsense, How can you be market price at that market? Well, there was a reason for it. We had heavy branding. We knew exactly what the ideal was. Our brand name itself had an assurity attached to it, had honour, had respect, had an element of safety attached to it, what is also known as goodwill. Yeah? So always look to create a brand of your name, of yourself, of your company, that people can rely on, that they can come back to again and again and again, repeatedly. Have no issue with the company at all. Turn around and think, do you know what? He may be £10 dearer, but I know I'm going to get my stock. Yeah, he may be £10 dearer, but he vets all his downloads. He ensures that the stuff that's being downloaded is the best. Yeah? He may well be dearer, but I appreciate that the pastries that he's delivering is flavoured the best. He's a very, very good chef. Does that make sense? So always try to create a little niche and an identity for yourself that people can rely on time and time again. Yeah? Hopefully this is helping just a little bit.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can, yes, absolutely.
Would you say the same if you're working within a network marketing industry?
Yes, absolutely.
That you should have something one person should buy from you and not the other person?
100%. Absolutely smack bang on the head. You should. Because you yourself as a person is an identity. You have to have a brand of your own. Now, if you are competing with lots of network marketers selling the same product, for example, associates in the same field, the network marketing, whatever it is,
yeah.
if you've got other people in the same field, there has to be a reason why they come to you. In business, it's exactly the same. If you open up a shop, the days have gone when you could just build it and they would come. It's not happening anymore. Now you build it, they don't just come. There's 50 choices on the way before they get there. Yeah. So with your network marketing, just to be much more precise with yourself, you need to identify yourself from your associates. They may be if they're in your downline, you haven't got too much of a problem because you can train them in your style. Yeah. But if they're a competitor parallel, then you need to be distinct.
Yeah.
And how could you do that? What exactly do you set up?
That was my next question.
Let's go. Come on, let's go for it. By all means, if you've got any questions, please fire up because this is where the real power of interaction and mastermind comes. What exactly do you do? What product do you use?
It's called Organo Gold Coffee.
Okay.
And it has a unique property called Ganoderma, which is a mushroom which is the most alkaline food in the world. So when you take it alkalines your body and it actually has loads of health benefits.
Okay. So now a question to yourself. Does everybody in your associate lineup, they've all trained exactly the same way? At the moment, people are expanding to their local area, or they can go a high-cost route of serious advertising and making sure they're penetrating the marketplace in a different way. But why and how could you cut yourself as being unique in that marketplace? If you're talking to if you find a publication that sell a lot of the MLM, the back of the magazine, the back of the newspaper, which says, "Would you like to have a second income?" How could you differentiate yourself?
Identities.
Let's make it really simple.
I'm on my next speaker.
Yeah, how many of you? Well, it's on. Time up. Okay. So just a quick question. Yourself, look back at yourself first, and see what your background is. What have you been good at before in the past? I'm running out of time, so my apologies. But we'll catch up in the break. But look back at what you achieved and what you've done in the past. Expand that and carry those key skills and key core abilities into your current product. Yeah, I'm not sure what your background is, but if you can, we'll catch up in the lunchtime or something. That will help you with that as well. Yeah. But sorry, I do apologise, but I'm running out short on time. I was rushing through the product.
No, you've done well.
Thank you
well
very much.
done.